What's up, guys? Welcome to my studio in the for the moment, I guess. I've been saying there's gonna be a new episode, and this is gonna be it. Might be a short one. It's currently 4:21 a.m. A toddler that won't sleep fully. A whole lot of talking in his sleep, and then getting up and being kind of crazy, then passing back out, pooping himself, the works. If you're a parent out there, I hope you're a good one. If you're not a good parent, get your lives together. The last little short podcast that I did was not great. I was very much in a strange place that day. I find myself in a lot of strange places mentally. I don't know if that's something that goes for everybody or not. We all make choices, and sometimes those choices are not the right choice, even if you believe in what you're doing is right. I was raised that you have to eat a little crow in order to get a piece of the pie, right? So, like when you have a shitty boss and a shitty job, you're supposed to put your head in the mud and push through, no matter how crappy it was, right? And I find myself in a place where I don't know where that line is for me anymore. I stood for what I thought was right recently, and I paid the price for it. And that's a consequence, you know, personally, I'd rather not go out on my back. And I've never been one to bend the knee just because, somebody has this hierarchy of ranking over you. I think you still deserve to be treated like a person and not a number, not a disposable, you know. And unfortunately, that's the American dream has come to. You know, I don't have numbers in front of me, but whatever the workforce is that isn't, you know, sitting in an office, doing some kind of, odd marketing, something that you can't explain to somebody. Because there's people out there with job descriptions that you just don't even, you're like, what is it that you do? They're like, I don't know, but I make $85,000 a year. You're like, okay, that's amazing, And then you have everybody else, the blue collar class, that's working, in labor intensive jobs, support roles across the board, tradesmen, factory workers, the people that really grind out economically for this country. And those are the ones that people treat as disposable, as, a number. Imagine how many employees, like a factory farming slaughterhouse, goes through in a month. You know, I've worked in places where the turnover was 20 or 30 people a week. 20 or 30 people that are like, I can't do it, or this is awful, or they get fired because they were late twice, and they're like, can't do that, can't do that. you know. And I don't know where, I mean, obviously, the world was never like the Andy Griffith Show. You know what I mean? It was never this small town where everybody kind of had like enough and the community provided for one another. But we've just gotten so out of touch with it, and technology and consumerism is just, you know, right now somewhere in a factory, they're like churning out thousands of like kitchen chairs, like dining room table chairs. And they'll make, you know, 400,000 of them. And you think, you're like, when is the last time I even bought a kitchen chair, let alone more than one? And you wonder, like, where is all of this going? Like, I'm getting a little off topic. Sometimes you pay the price for what you believe in. It's not always the correct decision. And more lighter top. Well, it's not really lighter, but not about me, rather. Instead of this shit being about me. What about Hulk Hogan dying, man? It's crazy. His last WWE appearance, he was completely booed off the stage, cursed off the stage, which, whatever. Like, the dude wasn't like a great human being. He was iconic for for sports entertainment or whatever. But there's some videos I really like about the multitude of like Hulk Hogan's lies throughout the years, and they're so amazing. Also, shout out to the Deadlock guys for uh, all their great Hulk Hogan work. Not just it's crazy that he died and then Ozzy Osbourne died, man. Prince of Darkness. If like Martin Short died also this week, it would be like the end of the world or something would happen. There would be some kind of portal that would open. I also don't care about when celebrities die, though. It's crazy. It's like I don't, when I was a child, when Dale Earnhardt died, I remember I cried like a child would. That dude was like my hero, right? And the older you get, like people die, and you're like, well, I didn't know the guy, I didn't know the person. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are just like, you know, diehard wrestling fans that are like crying over the Hulkster dying. And there's a lot of like metalheads out there that are like crying over Ozzy. It's crazy. I would never. I can't think of like one. Maybe Jeremy Renner, but he showed some resilience with that snowplow accident. That shit's crazy. The world is still at war. Cambodia and Thailand have been bombing each other. It's pretty nuts. I don't know, man. We're looking at strange times in this world, uncertain times. These are the times that people who are my age, their mid 30s, heard like their grandparents start to describe, where the prices of things were like super unaffordable, and there were like worries about like nuclear war. Like we're like kind of undergoing like what people really felt in like the 60s to the 80s, like It's a new kind of age. It's a strange world. I recommend everybody go out and do some camping if you can soon. I know it's hot, but go to a public campground, pay the little fee. Stay 3 nights, don't stay 2. Stay 3 nights. Take off Friday. You deserved it. Go down, preferably one with like a lake. And get your lake on for a couple of days. Just take the car, take the tent. Pick you a nice campground. It's got a shower house. You can canoodle with your old lady up in there, You can shower, at least. Have a nice little bonfire, you know. I don't know where you are if you're watching this. Hopefully, you're somewhere cool. I'm sure you got somewhere cool nearby. Just get out, man. Download a Spotify playlist and go out to where there's no cell phone service. Watch the skies. Get a little elevated, if you know what I mean. We actually just got back from a camping trip. It was quite nice. It was pretty funny too. I knew the entire time. I was like, I'm gonna get fired when I go back to work. And I didn't even get to go back. They like called me. They're like, "You fucking out." Like they fucking Kenny Powers me pretty hard. I got eastbound and down and ice cubed. They Friday'd me. What day off? It's my last day of vacation. Say la vie though. Boy, I hope the vaping doesn't show up too badly in this microphone. If it does, it's gonna be a ruined podcast. It's half of a ruined podcast, anyways, because it's like 4:40 in the morning. A little 12-minute video so far. Oh man, I don't know. It's a new age, a new world that we're living in. Saw a report that said that eggs were like 140% more expensive than they were a year and a half ago. And note that they're really not talking about the bird flu anymore. So why are the eggs still so expensive? How many of those chickens really had some bird flu? Speaking of bird flu, man, this has been the sickest I've ever been this year. I normally have a crazy immune system. It took me 5 years to get COVID the first time. And this year I had strep, I got a lung infection at the very beginning of the year. Then, like, strep, I haven't had strep in 15 years. I had that, and I had it for like a while because I quit taking the antibiotics before it was, I guess, killed. And then if you like don't throw away your toothbrush, you'll just continue to give yourself like strep. So, we got that. I got a new toothbrush. We got that taken care of. I think I had the flu this year. I've had a multitude of like whatever sicknesses come from daycare. I don't know. The daycares might as well be biological warfare labs because the stuff that gets created in there with just you mix like the snot of 12, 3-year olds. And I mean, that is, that's Wuhan. That's Wuhan 9000. I hope everybody out there is healthy. It's important to be healthy. I'm really not that healthy. 20 minutes ago, I ate a bunch of graham crackers and drank some sweet tea, so I'm not a pinnacle of health by any means. I'll tell you what, we got to figure out how to get it together as a people, as a humanity. Feels like the whole world is burning. But I mean, if you're in a pretty stable country, you look around, really nothing's on fire. You know what I mean? Politically, maybe. Socially, yes. Things might be on fire, but nobody's dropping bombs in Omaha. Nobody's barn storming. I want to get this channel doing a little more. I want to make these, videos more often. Believe it or not, had to overcome, quite the camera shyness in order to do these. I'd like to have more pals on, more friends, more homies on. Did the episode with my wonderful wife. But, she's a little shy. She's been hitting up the live streams. If you are a viewer who is tuned into a live stream, then thanks for coming and watching. You may have seen her on there several times. You may have seen me on there. I got called a dork on the live stream earlier. That was pretty tight. I enjoy letting people just say whatever it is they feel. It's like some people have to do that, right? Some people have to go through live streams and be like, I'm gonna, because I mean, I've, surely in the past, especially early internet, yeah, just going into like a chat room and messing with people. Some good fun in it sometimes. I've always tried to take any kind of trolling very lightheartedly. Well, listen, guys, it's late. Wherever you are, I hope it's early, or in the afternoon, or possibly in the evening. If it's not one of those things, then I don't know where you are, because we experience those every day here on Earth. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Just an update on the channel. We are closing in on 200 subscribers. I'm really, really excited about that. And we just surpassed 200 and 80,000 views. I don't want to really, 250 was like the last like big goal, and then I kind of pushed way through that really fast. So it's all because people, I can sit here and say that I do some of the work, but making shorts isn't really that difficult for me. I don't know. It's very silly, strange content. Not much of it's themed. The baseball stuff is what is always super popular, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy doing this. I'm sorry that I'm like corpsed out, laying here looking like Ronald Reagan or some shit like that. But hey, I appreciate y'all.